This is MuggleCast, the Harry Potter podcast discussing everything about JK Rowling's Wizarding World. Welcome to MuggleCast episode 360. So much MuggleCast in March. MuggleCast March. More MuggleCast March because we have a new Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald trailer. An hour and 15 minutes or so, and the last episode was not enough. We wanted to record another episode right after episode 359 to get in feedback from our listeners. We got lots of voicemails to get to today. We're also going to hear from our patrons who are listening live right now, and we're also going to discuss the new Wizarding World franchise logo, surprisingly detailed.
Yeah.
So we've all had a few days, wink, wink, to
days, more like minutes.
Calm down. I know. Shh.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Spoiler alert.
Peek behind the veil there, Micah.
To breathe after that new trailer. There's so much. And wow, my opinion on it has really changed over the past few days.
Ever since that big revelation.
Yeah.
The one JK Rowling actually set out quite prophetically by us. We were like, oh man, she could afford to answer some questions. She actually went and answered every question every person sent her on Twitter.
She said that scene where Dumbledore says, "It can't be me to go after Grindelwald," was an explicitly gay moment. That is now explicitly gay in canon. Crazy. No, so we're going to play lots of voicemails from listeners who have called in. I wanted to start actually with this comment from Jenny. We're just going to dive right back into the discussion. Jenny, who's listening live on Patreon, she says, "Is it just me, or does it look like Credence is able to detach the Obscurus from his body when he sends it from the palm of his hand on the roof?" So I actually wanted to discuss that. What is going on? He shouldn't be able to detach the Obscurus from his body, because then you're not really cursed with the Obscurus if you can remove it.
Well, it's like a parasite. It's described as being I feel like even in the first Fantastic Beasts movie, there's a little bit of a difference between sometimes he transforms into the Obscurus and then sometimes the Obscurus is like outside of him. Like I really think that like it makes up his body. He's able to be conscious when he is the Obscurus, but also they are separate or can exist separately in the same room together. I just feel like that's a thing. Like I feel like because when Graves is confronted by Credence, right? Does he necessarily like become the beast then? I feel like we've seen it both ways. I just really do.
It reminded me of a Mortal Kombat moment where like Scorpion or Sub-Zero shoots the ice out of his hand and
get over here.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a good call.
But I to me that would be troubling, right? I guess you could look at it in two different ways. One would be the troubling side of things. The other would be that he's found this ability to be able to harness his power, right? To be able to control the Obscurus. And that's obviously a great thing given his situation in Fantastic Beasts 1. And, also seeing him side by side on this roof with the Maledictus, who we know has a blood curse and is probably dealing with very similar circumstances, but it also could be a very dangerous thing, right? If his ability falls into the wrong hands, much like Grindelwald was pursuing him in the first film, I would think depending on what side he chooses to align himself with, and looking at that chart on the wall that we saw in the sewer, knowing that he is potentially related to the Lestranges, I don't know, that could spell some trouble there.
Here's another question coming in over on Patreon from Sam. The circus seemed to be outside in the middle of a Paris neighborhood, but with people floating in magic bubbles. Do you think that the French ministry is so lax that magic can just be used blatantly in the middle of a city? How do they stop muggles walking by and seeing?
I didn't get the impression that it was outdoors looking. I thought it was sort of just a large. I'm going to look again. Of
No,
course.
it's definitely outdoors. Yeah, because you see
Really?
storefronts in the background.
Well, just think of it as like a Diagon Alley. Diagon Alley is technically outdoors. It's also
Oh,
completely and 100% shielded from muggles.
right. So it could be that type of situation where this is a wizards only zone. But I do like the idea that the French are more relaxed when it comes to wizard muggle relations, more progressive, I guess
Come into
you
my
could say.
country, you know. we've used
Yeah,
some
maybe
magic,
they're or maybe they only accept, maybe they're completely chill with wizards so long as they serve as entertainers. Like, wow, how are these people floating in bubbles? Well, I guess they're just really talented muggles, non-magique, or they are just wizards, but that's cool because they don't bother me.
Yeah.
It's possible, but also remember that when we talked about this circus before, part of the reason why we thought it left the New York, right, was because of the potential threat that it could pose to exposing wizarding kind to those that were looking to do serious harm to them. So yeah, it's certainly possible that the French could have a little bit more lax position on these types of things. I'm looking at the screenshot right now. It's definitely outdoors in the middle of a street.
Yeah, I
But
see it
perhaps
too.
this is a wizarding community. Perhaps maybe there was a spell or a charm that was put on this area similar to what they do for the Quidditch World Cup.
Yeah, I think that's realistic. I see it now. I'd like for Rowling to do like each country has its own backwards way of doing things, like she did with America. But I think right now I think we're just meant to believe that there's probably protections on it.
I feel like that will be one of the fun parts of this franchise on a whole. We're presumably going to a different country in each movie, and it would be kind of boring if each one had similar rules. So I think these films also serve as a canon lesson, Wizarding World canon lesson. We get to learn about the different Wizarding Worlds.
Yeah. Where's movie 3? Germany, do we think, or Italy or Spain? Those are the 3 that are coming, right?
I can't remember.
I think it was based on the order that
Rowling tweeted.
JK Rowling had tweeted out in those different languages. But
yeah, that was the guess.
the other thing too about the circus is that you think about when any of us went to a circus, if we went to a circus, right? You can suspend your belief a little bit more. So I don't know if a circus necessarily would be something that non-magical people would take issue with initially. Now, certainly if you have people floating around in bubbles, I think that's a little bit extreme. But, just the whole concept of a circus, or you expect to see things that are oddities, or you expect to see things that are a little bit outside of the norm, right?
Mm-hmm. That's true.
So maybe that plays into this, and I'm actually looking on the left-hand side of the circus, sort of like the exterior of it, and it does say Maledictus with a picture of what looks like a snake.
That's
and then on
neat.
the right-hand side, it has something called Oni Oni, and I do remember. And it looks like it has either a Japanese or a Chinese character on it. So it wasn't there a quote from Eddie Redmayne saying that they come up against a very formidable Asian beast in this film?
Yeah, I want to say Chinese, but yeah.
That's amazing. I don't remember that. That's amazing.
This thing looks pretty ugly. I'm just going to say that right now. Like, that looks pretty nasty if you come up against something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think you would have something as prominent as that on the front of the circus, sort of juxtaposed with the Maledictus, unless it's going to actually play a role in the film.
That's a fair guess. I did look up the tweet. It's the third film will be presumably Germany, followed by Spain, followed by Italy.
Mm-hmm.
I would hope not. And the reason why I say that, and I know that the most of the movie needs to take place in Europe as sort of we build up to World War II. But I would hope that you would go beyond sort of that European border. I know, yes, the first movie was in New York, but thinking through like Africa, the Far East, Australia, there are other places for these films to go, despite what JK Rowling tweeted. I think, it doesn't the world doesn't expand enough by just staying within those European countries.
I would agree. Especially after JK Rowling did that amazing writing on Pottermore about Mahathakura and all the other Wizarding World schools, not just in Europe, but around the world.
Right. I wanted to briefly complain about something, and I want to compare it to Star.
No place on this show.
I want to compare it to Star Wars. So at the end of this, we hear this updated Hedwig's theme, and we all love Hedwig's theme. It's been so closely associated with Harry Potter. But why do they have to modernize Hedwig's theme? Can't we just keep the classic John Williams? And I was thinking, if Star Wars modernized their da 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 da, people would lose their minds. I think we should be rising up and fighting against this modernized Hedwig's theme.
Who's saying it's modernized? Couldn't they have worked the other way and unmodernized it?
They did but it's like hold on, let me play that.
Okay,
the ends. It's like more synthesized.
It's tribal drums. It's war. I think that we're going to be talking a lot on this episode about the Wizarding World and the greater expanding story. What's happened is that Hedwig's theme is they're just taking it with them. So that is no longer going to just Harry's theme. That is the theme for the entire Wizarding World. If they ever make a Quidditch Through the Ages movie, it's going to have that theme in it.
So this is my other point. Why can't Fantastic Beasts have its own theme? Why do we have to carry over Hedwig's theme, which it is called Hedwig's theme? Man. I don't see Hedwig showing up in Fantastic Beasts anytime soon.
Maybe she's living in the Newt case. Maybe she's hanging out. Maybe she's related to Lita Lestrange, just like Credence. I don't know.
Possible. Yeah, anything's possible.
I think that...
what about Pickett's theme?
Pickett's theme. Well, yeah, they're clearly themed. Like the Fantastic Beasts score has themes for each.
Dougal's theme.
I have it on vinyl, actually. That reminds me. But there are themes in Fantastic Beasts for each character, but they're just not the recognizable.
But what's the title theme of Fantastic Beasts? It's apparently Hedwig's theme.
Well, that is it. Yeah. The opening main title for Fantastic Beasts starts with Hedwig's, theme.
Jenny says, Andrew, you were mad when they used the normal one in the first one. Which is it? Make up your mind. Well, look, I will concede that I did like when it was in the first trailer for the first movie, but now I think we got to move on. Like in the first movie, it worked for promotional material because you had to connect the dots, but now we have Hogwarts in this trailer. We don't need Hedwig's theme.
Got Hogwarts, you got Dumbledore.
Yeah, you got enough. Monitor this synthesized Hedwig's
They're
theme.
Never going to let that go, though, because that's always what's going to be able to connect people back to Potter. So
fine, but just
I'm fine with it.
Play the classics, the simple.
So what I was going to ask earlier is, do we know who is composing the score for this film?
I'm gonna look
Let me Google it for you.
Is it the same person that did Fantastic Beasts?
I don't even know who that first one. Apparently James Newton Howard, who did do the first one.
Yeah.
Apparently he knows how to work a synthesizer.
It's so iconic. It may change forms, pitches, but it's not going away.
Fine.
Unless you want to compose your own theme.
Oh God,
for Fantastic Beast, and then I think honestly, you might have a gripe.
All right, maybe I will order a keyboard and start tinkering around with it and try to come up with my own theme. By the way, we were theorizing for a while that maybe Newt's Fantastic Beasts book release party would that Saturday, March 19th date, that would be used to reveal the trailer. We got close. Only 6 days.
I guess we did get close. I wonder what's actually happening on the 19th then.
Hopefully they do something.
Yeah, I hope so too.
But this trailer also did kind of kill the theory that Newt ends up in Paris because of his book release.
Yeah.
If the trailer did confirm Dumbledore sent him there for some reason, probably Grindy.
Or Nicholas Flamel.
Or that, yep. We are about to get to voicemails, but first, our first sponsor this week. From the network that brings you This Is Us comes the next great drama, Rise, from the producer of the acclaimed Broadway musical Hamilton and the producer of Friday Night Lights and Parenthood. It's an amazing new drama inspired by a true story, Tuesdays on NBC. When a dedicated teacher takes over a high school's failing theater department, he'll change the lives of 7 kids and transform a town. The critics rave that Rise promises Glee-style musical euphoria and that it's a hit in the making. And Entertainment Tonight says, we haven't been this instantly smitten with a drama since we watched This Is Us. Rise stars Josh Radnor, Rosie Perez, and the voice of Moana, Ali'i Carvalho. USA Today raves, Ali'i Carvalho steals the spotlight. You'll see why Variety calls Rise a hit in the making. Don't miss Rise, 9/8 Central, Tuesdays after The Voice on NBC and streaming now on the NBC app. Let's listen to a few voicemails now. Here we go.
Hey, MuggleCast, it's Lyndon out here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So I just wanted to react on the trailer that came out today. It looks great, especially Jude Law. He gets the subtleties of Dumbledore just fine, I would say. And good news, we get to see a bit more beasts. I saw some dust trolls. And I think the question on everyone else's mind, especially you guys, is the move at the end. What kind of spell do you think Newt is doing? And it's like he's pounding the ground with it. It looks pretty cool. Thanks, guys. Can't wait for the movie. Take care. Bye.
Yeah, you may recognize it from the Mario video games. It is a ground pound with a wand.
The red sparks or red. It occurs to me that is Theseus a Gryffindor? Did we figure that out?
What does that have to do
Well,
with anything?
I don't think spell colors correspond with your house. Although that would be cool.
Whenever Harry gets his wand for the first time, it shoots red sparks, and you're like, gee, I wonder what house he's going to be in at Hogwarts.
Mm-hmm.
But then Newt's a Hufflepuff. Anyway, I bring it up because it's a red light, so I don't really know. Does that mean it's a protective spell if it's red? Something about warmth and redness, or it's really hard to say. The Avada Kedavra death curse is green, so I always assume red is like purity. Like Harry's jet of magic against Voldemort is red.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just that it's protective good magic. Although I guess if it were like a shield charm, it would be white. Those are traditionally more like beam of pure light type white. The fact that it's red tells me it's maybe defensive and light magic.
Yeah, I really have no clue. I mean, it's clear that they're in a graveyard, right? We said that.
Yeah.
Whether it was earlier on in this episode or the one that we did earlier this week, but it's just very hard to tell. Like, are they protecting something? It looks defensive because of all the action that precedes it, almost like they're trying to ward something off. But at the same time, I wonder, could they be trying to protect something that is in that graveyard?
There does seem to be the line kind of creates the red light creates sort of a perimeter, kind of. After they do that on the ground, it looks like sort of a fault line of protection. So I do think that's pretty astute, like keeping something in, keeping something out.
Red means stop.
Red.
You shall not pass.
Red does mean stop.
Here's our next voicemail.
Hi, my name is Alana from New Jersey. I'm calling with my feedback on the Fantastic Beasts trailer. I watched it today, and my first thought was, why are they operating into Hogwarts? That's one of the key things, is you can't operate in Hogwarts. I like that we're going to Hogwarts, but I just want to know why that was allowed. Thanks.
I wonder, would fans rather not see Hogwarts or apparate to Hogwarts?
we talked about this in the last show.
Yeah.
Either that spell isn't there yet, or the fact that the government was coming, they lowered the protections temporarily to receive them as guests.
And remember, it's not a call necessarily that Dumbledore would make at this point in time because he's not headmaster. So, Eric, you raise a great point. If the government is showing up, whoever the headmaster is at that point could easily have lowered protections or allowed permissions for them to show up. So just happen to think that it may not be something that is in place at this point. Maybe something happens between now and Harry arriving. But didn't you in the last episode also mention that it's in Hogwarts of History?
It is in Hogwarts of History.
So that would lead me to believe that it's been in place for a pretty long period of time.
I mean, it doesn't have to be, right? As long as Hogwarts of History was updated within the last 50 or 60 years, at the time of Harry's first year, and Hermione's read a fairly recent edition.
I mean, maybe they just didn't have these crazy incidents taking place hundreds of years ago, right? I mean, not that every student behaves themselves, but I could see why you'd want protection around the school. You just don't want random people showing up there and who knows what. So, it's a good question. It's honestly the first thing that popped into my mind, Alana, when I saw the trailer. Mm-hmm. It's something we've heard many, many times, and something Dumbledore explicitly states as a special exception that he has, that being headmaster allows him to apparate in and out of Hogwarts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's our next voicemail.
Hi, MuggleCast. This is Shannon from Toronto. I just watched the new Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald trailer, and I just had a couple of random thoughts, so I thought I would call in. The first one is, although it's great to see Jacob back and part of the team, and it was pretty obvious that he was going to be back and with the team anyway, I'm happy to see it right there in the trailer, but kind of makes me wonder what was the point in erasing his memory in the first place if he's just going to get it back. So curious to see where that storyline goes. The second is that I'm just really happy that the movie still seems like it's centered around Newt, and there are quite a few beasts in the trailer still as well. I was really worried that that was just going to get old fast and they were just going to get away from the beasts really quickly. And in real life, I'm actually an animal trainer and I'm a wildlife educator as well. So Newt has quickly become pretty much my favorite character in all of Harry Potter. I like to pretend that if I was a witch, that I would have his job and I would be traveling the world discovering these animals. So I just love all of those storylines the most, and I'm happy to see that it seems like they're still going to be in this movie a lot. So anyways, I'm excited to see or hear what you guys think of the new trailer. Love the show. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you, Shannon.
In terms of Jacob, it created a very emotional ending, losing his memory. And it made sense in terms of where the characters were at that time and wizard-muggle relations at that time. So I liked it. I have no regrets about it, even if he is quickly getting it back in the second movie.
She raises a good point, though. How does he just show up in the trailer like nothing's happened? Not that they're going to give that away necessarily in a trailer, but it would be helpful to provide a little bit of context instead of him just showing up and he's ready to join the next great adventure that Newt has.
Well, what's he really going to be able to do, too? I mean, the stakes are so much higher when there's open warfare than necessarily like that which he had to deal with when there were just a couple beasts loose in New York. You know, there's very quickly going to be a lot more circumstances where Jacob needs to kind of hide in the case or something for protection, because he can't defend himself. It doesn't actually make sense for the Jacob character to go further in these films, really, because he won't be able to defend himself.
Yeah. What are you saying, Eric? You already helped to off one character in our last episode. Are you going for Jacob this episode?
Who did I off the last time?
Serafina.
Oh, yeah, she's gone.
Or maybe that was me. I might have done that.
We all
Lego.
Came to that
Oh,
conclusion.
yeah. No, it's Lego. That's right.
Lego.
Lego
did
it.
Serafina.
Well,
I think that if I can make a prediction, I don't think Jacob will be the center or the heart, the emotional weight of this film the way he was the first one. I don't think they're likely to repeat that.
I disagree with that. I mean, I think he'll be the comic relief.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. As will Dumbledore, probably.
Yeah.
But I like where you were going with that, Eric, about Jacob having to hide away in the suitcase. Maybe that's why he is so excited when Newt says, "You're coming with me." On the other hand, I think the assumption was he's just excited because he loves helping Newt. That's
stuff.
what we learned in the first movie.
Yeah.
I love magic. I want to be a wizard.
I want to be a wizard.
Sorry, I'm confusing my cheesy Harry
Yeah.
Potter franchise
How
lines.
dare you?
You sound like Sam Tarley from Game of Thrones.
Was there a second question in Shannon's voicemail? I forget.
She's an animal trainer, so Newt's her favorite character, which was sweet.
Oh, yeah. That's great. That's great.
Let's go down to Alabama.
Hi, MuggleCast. This is Timothy from Alabama. Been listening since August 2005, I think, since I was 11.
Damn.
And first-time caller. So I love the new trailer. It's amazing. Really excited. Got me really excited. Much more than I thought. You guys probably are going to notice every little crazy thing by pausing and going frame by frame. But
Yep.
at about 1:15, it looks like a family tree with someone named Corvus Lestrange, hard to read. And it seems like this person fathered both Lita Lestrange and Credence Barebone. Not know what's up with that. They seem to be step-siblings or something. Credence's mom, it looks like something like Clarice Tremblay. It's really hard to read, but it definitely says Lita Lestrange, and it definitely says Credence, and it seems like they have the same father or something. And there's weird racialized like avatars for them. I don't understand that. But a lot of other cool stuff. We get first look at the Chinese beast at 1:17, an illustration of it at least. There's a whole center dedicated to beasts at 1 minute and 9 seconds. So Eric's going to be happy. Tons of beasts. Eagles at 49 seconds. Not subtle in the Hitler imagery. But anyway, yeah, sorry, I'm rambling. Great trailer. Hope you guys enjoy it too.
That's a great work unpacking a lot of that, Timothy. And I think that brings up an interesting question. What we thought was the French Ministry of Magic, we talked about this in between recording last episode and this episode. We couldn't tell why there were beasts kind of displayed on the atrium ceiling, but Timothy seems to think it's a center for the study of beasts. So if that's true, I actually like that a lot.
Yeah, I mean, that could also be possible given that Newt is headed to Paris. Maybe he is going there because they have this center for the study of beasts. But I like the idea also of it almost being a tracking mechanism. So all these different beasts that we see up in the ceiling area, maybe the ministry is keeping a close watch on the different beasts that they are aware of. It's definitely in France because of the names of all the beasts are in French, but certainly another good possibility that this isn't the ministry, that it's in fact some sort of study hall.
But very, I hope Timothy doesn't hate that I say you got eagle eyes, good sir. Yet again, this family tree thing with Corvus Lestrange and Lita being Credence's half-brother, I guess it would be. If they both have the same father and different mothers, they'd be half-siblings, yeah. So what this means, and we talked about this, I think, at length in the last episode, so I don't want to reiterate too much, but I'm not 100% proud or pleased of how small the world is becoming. Ultimately, we recently found out that Lita Lestrange is married to or engaged to Newt's brother, Theseus. So that would make Credence Newt's sister-in-law's half-brother. And these are just strangers that, like, not everybody needs to be related, right, in this world, but that's the way it works, right? Like these strangers who he ran into in New York, the other continent, just happens to be his sister-in-law's half-brother. Why does, at this point, it holds no emotional weight for me.
I'll be honest, I can't do that math.
Yeah.
But
Me neither.
I'm glad that you can. But I think it's not uncommon, though, for there to be these inter-family relations amongst wizards and witches, right? We saw it in the Potter series. So I just think we're seeing, to your point, the world coming a little bit closer together. And there's nothing wrong with that, because that needs to happen in order for the story to evolve, right? You can't just have these characters at these desperate ends of the spectrum that don't have some sort of relation to each other.
Well, I sure hope Tina and Newt aren't related.
Not yet. They will be in the future. Spoiler alert. But
that's a good point. Darn.
And I'm trying to also see what Timothy mentioned at 49 seconds. He referenced an eagle. Is that what's above Grindelwald and Rossier. Or I don't know what he's talking about.
Is there a I think he's talking about the statue at the top towards the left.
I see what he's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
There's one
it's
on the
other
left
side
and one
too.
on the right.
It just seems decorative to me. I'm not sure there's much to say about that though.
I need to brush up on my World War II symbolism, to be honest.
That's again another good catch by him. A lot of stuff that we touched on in the previous episode, particularly about the weird Criminal Minds CSI chalk wall that's in the sewer there with Lita and Credence's name on it.
All right, let's continue listening to what our listeners have to say.
Hey guys, this is Rebecca from Maryland, just calling in with my reactions to the Fantastic Beasts trailer. First of all, I almost cried when we saw Hogwarts again. Like, I went years thinking I may never see that for the first time on the big screen in my adult life, so that was really good to see. I'm excited for that, to go back. Second, like, I knew Jude Law with Dumbledore. I've known since it was announced, but like actually seeing him as young Dumbledore, there's some feelings there. I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, that I'm going to enjoy that. However, the apparating onto Hogwarts grounds threw me for a loop. Like, as soon as I saw that bit, I was like, what is this? I don't know if maybe that's always been the law or the rule there, or maybe that wasn't enacted until after this time period. So I was just curious your thoughts on that. And also, Johnny Depp looked absolutely horrible. That made me feel good, considering things. So, yeah, looking forward to hearing what you guys think. Bye.
All right, differing with Eric and I about Grindelwald's appearance, very much liking Dumbledore's appearance, like we all said. That was a good point about seeing Hogwarts for the first time in our adult lives. Many of us grew up with the Harry Potter books and films when we were younger, and it'll have been 7 years since we last saw Hogwarts on the big screen. So going back and seeing it after we've all presumably changed a decent amount over the past 7 years, to see the castle again on the big screen, paying for a movie ticket when we have student loans now to pay for, and cars and homes. That'll be bittersweet.
Can't we just escape to Hogwarts, throw these credit card debt aside? And...
Right.
By the way,
I paid $20 to see this movie, but it was so worth it.
Yeah. I mentioned this last week when we were talking about Johnny Depp. Jamie Campbell Bower is the actor who played young Grindelwald. I really felt as though Johnny Depp's, with the hair at the sides, looked kind of a lot like he was dressed like Jamie Campbell Bower was in the Deathly Hallows film. So I thought that was kind of cool. Actually, Jamie Campbell Bower was in Sweeney Todd.
He just spent a good amount of time in jail, which Grindelwald did. So I know also on the last episode I mentioned he had a little bit of a haunting look to him, much like Sirius Black did when he broke out of Azkaban, right?
Yeah.
And we saw him for the first time in the Shrieking Shack. I don't know what kind of protections the MACUSA, equivalent of Azkaban has in place. Is it Dementors? Is it something comparable to that? But he certainly looked a little worse for wear in that carriage.
Let's move forward.
Hey guys, it's Nolan calling from Florida. I just watched the new Fantastic Beasts trailer, and a couple thoughts. I overall really loved it, but my biggest complaint, which I had with the first Fantastic Beasts movie, is nobody's dressed like a wizard. It's really strange to see Dumbledore inside of Hogwarts dressed just in a suit and tie like a normal Muggle would be. But besides that, overall, I loved it. It was good to see Hogwarts. I really enjoyed the carriage pulled by Thestrals. That was really amazing. One thing, though, at minute 122, there's a figure in an exploding building. Kind of looks like Graves. It's probably not Graves. I think he's most likely dead. But the guy in that building kind of looks like Graves. So I wonder what your thoughts are on who's the guy in the exploding building. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you, Nolan, who is also listening on Patreon tonight. Maybe a little wishful thinking on the Graves' part, but I see what you're talking about because he's wearing that long jacket. He's got a tie on. He does look like Graves in Fantastic Beasts 1. Almost looks like the side of his head has gray hair.
Are we looking at the same kid? Because I see a chick. I see Rosier. Like I see like a dress. This is when Credence destroys what I called a birdcage last season.
Right, and then the next shot is a guy with a tie.
A tie? I thought it looked exactly like Rosier as she's dressed in the scene with Grindelwald and the large crowd. I thought
I'll disagree with you there.
Okay.
Do you need me to break the tie?
Yeah, go ahead, Micah. Go look at 122 yourself.
So we're talking about the person who is standing inside
in the exploding building.
Yeah, guy or girl?
To me, it definitely looks like a guy.
Woo!
Okay. I am not seeing. I must not have the HD on, even though the setting says HD and the title of this video is HD. I'm not seeing a tie, like a necktie, like you're saying. So my bad. I don't know.
This is an interesting scene to talk about because I don't think we did on the previous episode. It does give you that false transition going from Credence appearing to release some beasts at the circus to this shot, which is kind of eerily reminiscent of scenes we saw in the first film when Credence was busting through different houses. So I wonder what this is.
I wonder.
Actually, I just had a crazy idea while I was watching this, and it was honestly after I said the name Credence. Could this be a flashback? Could that be, Credence? Could it be his dad? And these are like the first times of him actually experiencing becoming an Obscurus.
Maybe
because it looks London-y, right? In the shot,
it could very well be a flashback, and that's in addition to not taking the sequencing of these scenes very seriously, not reading into that too much.
Yeah,
that's another good point. They can be screwing us up with flashbacks.
Yeah, because we just talked about how there's a chance that was fathered by one of the Lestranges, and perhaps they had no idea what was going on with him, and this could be it, or this just could be Credence present day running away from somebody else. We really don't know, and they do like to do that in these trailers, and I think it was referenced at another point, right, when they're inside the tent at the circus, and then it cuts to a scene with Pickett trying to run away, and there's like this red carpet on the floor, and it's not the same scene. It just
Purple
looks
carpet.
like it's the same scene.
Yeah. I'm gonna guess that it is in fact Rosier, and that she just tried to recruit Credence, and that he busted out to escape.
That is the standard definition analysis. Mike and I offering you HD.
Fair enough, guys.
We're gonna stay in Florida for our next voicemail.
Hey, MuggleCasters, this is Chris from Florida, and I came into this trailer kind of cautiously optimistic just because of the wonky title, but as soon as they had that shot coming over the hill seeing Hogwarts, I was full steam ahead. The hype train is off the rails. I'm super duper excited. Seeing the new tone of the movie being more tense is really exciting, and especially seeing the expanded use of magic, being that the full-grown wizards, from the kids in the bubbles to a lot of other little things. I'm really, really excited now. So yeah, I'm excited to be fully on board. I hope you guys are stoked too, and I can't wait to hear your thoughts on the show. Bye.
All right. Beautiful voicemail. Short, sweet, energized. He just wanted to call in about that shot of Hogwarts.
The hype train's off the tracks.
Yeah, I was expecting a Hogwarts Express reference there. Didn't get one, but that's okay. I was excited by Hogwarts, but I would have been really excited if we saw the Hogwarts Express again. I'm not sure it's going to fit in the timeline here, but can we see that again?
Yeah, some September 1st or something, if the series ends on September 1st.
Yeah.
Just like it does in the epilogue. Hey.
Here's another happy voicemail.
Hey, MuggleCast. Aiden here, calling in from Victoria, British Columbia. My opinion on the Fantastic Beasts 2 teaser trailer was actually overwhelmingly positive. I particularly like how Hogwarts looks. It's a very realistic depiction from what we see in the books. I also was surprised at how little Grindelwald there was. Particularly, it's just a couple little scenes. So maybe it'll be more of the movie will be more of Newton and the gang interacting with the crimes of Grindelwald rather than Grindelwald himself. Yeah, can't wait to hear what you guys think, and see you next week. Bye.
Yeah, we didn't really get any more of an explanation for that title.
Yeah, and I definitely, among others, but especially me, complained about how it's too soon to name a film after Grindelwald. We have him for 3 or 4 other movies, and as recently as yesterday, I made a joke about the teaser trailer just being 45 seconds of his face. Because I thought Warner Brothers they've already doubled down on Johnny Depp. What would happen if they tripled down as well? But the amount of Johnny Depp in this trailer was minimal. I was pleased by it. The shot we did get of his face, Andrew and I, we both kind of like, hey, yeah, we can see that. It's kind of, we liked it. So I am pleasantly happy to be proven wrong, I guess. And I don't know if there will be more to Grindelwald in this movie, or if it's going to be, again, as Aiden said, one of those titles where Grindelwald doesn't feature, but the movie is actually all about him.
Yeah. Let's move along to our next voicemail.
Hi, MuggleCast. This is Krista in North Carolina. I cannot wait to hear this episode because I'm burning with questions after this trailer. One thing that stood out to me was that Dumbledore was in the Defense Against the Dark Arts classroom in Hogwarts in that scene where they're asking him about Newt Scamander, which I thought that was really interesting. And I'm also hoping y'all will talk about the new Wizarding World logo with the wands. And Pottermore put up the breakdown of whose wand is which. And it seems that there are half Harry Potter characters, half Fantastic Beasts characters with Dumbledore in the middle, which I just thought was a very interesting choice. So I'm hoping y'all will discuss that as well. Thanks.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we'll save that, but I'll just say now, Dumbledore kind of it plays a huge role in both of these franchises. So I guess that's why his wand would be in the middle.
That makes sense. Yeah, but that is our main discussion this episode.
Yeah, we'll discuss that.
45 minutes in.
Also she brought up the classroom points. Yeah, so not much to rehash there, but thank you for sharing. And we got 2 more here. Let's listen to this one.
Hello guys, this is Pablo from Mexico. I loved the trailer. I wasn't honestly expecting that much out of it since it was our first look at the movie. But oh my god, I was genuinely surprised with how good the movie looks. I mean, there have been a lot of problems leading up to the movie about external things from it, but just looking at the trailer, just focusing on it, I think it looks great. And I'm surprised since I'm not a huge fan of what David Yates did with the last few movies and the first Fantastic Beast one, but it looks visually astonishing. And I'm honestly real excited for it. Well, that's it, guys. Thank you. I would just like to ask, what was your favorite part from it? I think mine was Newt fighting alongside with his brother. Thank you. Bye.
All right. Pablo, now a believer in Fantastic Beasts. I will agree that my favorite scene was when the 2 brothers stick their wands into the ground and create that wall. Like, that was just so cool to me.
I thought there were 3 brothers.
That's another story.
Actually, you know what? Credence is the 3rd brother, because to Theseus, he's his wife's brother, his wife's half brother. So he's a half brother-in-law. So the 3 brothers are Newt, Theseus, and Credence. Anyway, my favorite scene is Dumbledore. Any period of time where he's either facing one direction and looking back behind him, smiling at Newt on the rooftop, or when he's at Hogwarts, I'm quickly falling fast for Jude Law as Dumbledore.
I like the escape scene or what I've learned, is the escape scene.
Thanks, Lego.
Thank you, Lego. I just enjoyed, the sort of the jump off from whatever building it is that he's being held in, and what looks to be there also seems to be, I don't know if we mentioned this, but there's two people on brooms chasing them. I don't know if they're chasing them or if they're part of the sort of the vanguard there,
escort,
that's protecting him. But and then to see the shot of Grindelwald, who this film has been named after, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, titular character, I guess is what you can call it.
A what?
A titular character, meaning the title.
Oh,
the TITU.
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm already reading it in articles.
I write that word sometimes and I giggle.
Yeah. Yeah. Can't be read without a giggle.
For those of you who are thirsting over Dumbledore, Daisha pointed this out a little while ago in the chat, but she said at the 21-second mark in the trailer, you get a great shot of Dumbledame's booty. Dumbledam.
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 Yeah, it's sitting up against that desk.
Dumbledam in the DA office can put a spell on me anytime. Well, we have one more voicemail here. Let's get to that one, and then we'll move on to the logo.
Hi, MuggleCast. Laura here. I just wanted to call in and give you guys my thoughts about the Fantastic Beasts trailer. I am so excited now for Fantastic Beasts. I love the focus on Newt and Jacob and Queenie. I think it looks really, really good. I still am not that fond of Johnny Depp as Grindelwald, but I am so here for Jude Law as Dumbledore. I think he is the perfect casting, and I am so excited. I cannot wait to hear you guys debrief this trailer because it definitely has got me excited for November. Thanks, guys. Have a great night.
Thank you.
That was Lauren?
Yes.
Thank you, Lauren.
I think. Let's listen back.
Hi, MuggleCast. Laura here.
Laura. Thanks, Laura.
Yeah.
Laura's here.
Laura's back.
Laura's back.
Before we get into our main discussion for this episode, we want to mention that it's sponsored by Beachbody On Demand, the online fitness streaming service that gives you unlimited access to a wide variety of highly effective, world-class workouts personalized to meet your needs. I've mentioned before on this show that my boy Tony Horton had me working out with the troops during the 22-minute hardcore program. But this week, I'm beginning the 21-day fix with trainer Autumn Calabrese and the 3-week yoga retreat on Beachbody On Demand. There's also daily workouts that aren't part of extended fitness levels. Great Body Guaranteed, for instance, has you working 5 separate target areas, all in less than 10 minutes each. And those workouts are a great place to start. Now, I've paid for personal trainer experiences before at the gyms here in Chicago, and I never felt like I had enough money to really book the trainers for like as many sessions as it would take to actually make a difference, change my habits, improve my body. But with Beachbody On Demand, you have hundreds of hours of workouts and trainer instruction at your fingertips. It's a no-brainer. It's an absolutely amazing program. Now, right now, listeners of MuggleCast can get a free trial membership when you text MuggleCast, that's one word, to 303030. You're going to get full access to the entire platform for free, all the workouts and nutritional information as well. Beachbody streams to your computer, your web-enabled TV, tablet, smartphone, or web-enabled device, like anything. You need to give it a try. So just text MuggleCast, all one word, no spaces, to 303030, and you can get started with Beachbody On Demand.
Awesome. I used it a couple weeks ago when it was raining and I didn't want to go outside. And I was like, well, wait, I can get a workout right here. So I loaded up one of the workouts and got it done.
Yeah, no, I've tried it out as well. And it's definitely a great alternative, especially during the weather here in New York. If you've seen it over the last couple of weeks, we've had a few nor'easters roll through. So it's nice to be able to just pull it up on your phone and your computer and do a workout for 20 or 30 minutes.
Yeah. It's the middle of March and it snowed today, like copious amounts.
Yeah.
So glad I had Beachbody.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Beachbody. Thank you also to Warner Brothers. They put together a new Wizarding World logo that covers the whole franchise.
Well, it's about time.
Well, a year or two ago, they started labeling everything with JK Rowling's Wizarding World. And that was like the way to house everything under one brand. And actually, Mike and I had heard at Celebration of Harry Potter that they were getting ready to put together a new logo / put together new branding.
Huh.
And I think I might have said to you, Mike, I was like, what else can you do besides say Wizarding World? Like, that's it.
Right.
And so they have kept Wizarding World, but now they have this great new logo on top of it. They've taken out J.K. Rowling's name. And so there's 9 wands, which form kind of like the NBC Peacock logo.
Yeah. Well, and the interesting thing is that the first time we saw this, I believe it was animated, right? It was during yesterday's video announcement of today's teaser trailer.
Yeah.
They had like the books and they tweeted it. It actually unfolds either like a book or like a peacock. I actually think it's a book. I think the bottom line is like a book with a spine in the center,
Right. It's like a fanned open book, a book that's been blown open.
Yeah.
And each of the wands represents a page, sort of. And so the wands are wands you will recognize. From left to right are Voldemort, Ron, Hermione, Harry, Dumbledore. After defeating Grindelwald, he has the Elder Wand. So it's the Elder Wand in the center. Then Newt, Tina, Queenie, and Grindelwald's wand before coming into possession of the Elder Wand. So pretty cool. And like that voicemail had brought up, Dumbledore's wand is in the center, and he is the glue between the two stories, isn't he?
Yeah, and I can see. I love that the voicemail pointed out he's in the middle. He is the bridge between both worlds. But it is the reason that we know these wands. I started asking people on Twitter. I started asking my friends, but Pottermore actually wrote it out and has a small segment on each of the wands on their page announcing this logo. But the interesting part is that Dumbledore doesn't have the Elder Wand until after his defeat of Grindelwald in 1945. So technically for now, I think it's Grindelwald's wand contemporaneously with the movies we're watching. But then I wonder why young Grindelwald's wand is also there. Like, I'm confused. Is Dumbledore currently using young Grindelwald's wand because he now has the Elder Wand? Like, young Grindelwald's wand is the last wand that should belong there. Because if Grindelwald has the Elder Wand, then at least Grindelwald will be there. Like he's represented in this logo.
I think that's diving too deep into what they're trying to show here. I just think that Voldemort and Grindelwald's wands, they are on the outside of both sides of this book logo type thing.
That's true.
So I like the logo. It surprised me. It's growing on me, I think. Do you guys think it is a nice way to represent the franchise on whole? Because we're going to be seeing this everywhere.
Yeah, this is going to be, I think it's a natural progression. I do genuinely like the logo. I like the font. I like everything about it. I like the way it was animated. And I'll be happy to no longer see Harry Potter's logo on stuff that has nothing to do with Harry Potter himself as a character. Right? That was always the problem. That was what they're trying to accomplish, is be able to have a recognizable logo that doesn't have Harry with the lightning, for the P, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they've achieved that. So I'm very.
But it's still on the W.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a nice little reference. On the W, we see the lightning bolt, and then I noticed today that a couple of the letters have like beast scales on them, like the D at the very end has a scale on the top left, as does the last R and the last G
and the Z.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I like how the O kind of curls up in itself, like a
spell movement,
an augury or not augury, or like a spell. Absolutely. Like when you have to make the spells in the video game, that's sort of the pattern.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Clovis must be really, really happy with this logo as a person, because his because Hermione's wand is opposite Tina's, and he ships Harry and Hermione, and Newt and Tina are next to each other.
I will say though that I liked what you said, Eric, about how it really looks like a book that's lying face open, and all these wands represent pages within that book. Overall, though, like this doesn't mean anything to me. Like, I'll be honest.
Man.
Like, I
Harsh critic, shit.
Wow, yeah. Well,
I understand the need to rebrand. I get it, because you don't always want to be associated with the Potter story. I won't say the Potter franchise because this is all part of the Potter franchise. It's like, okay, fine. Like it's 9 wands, and to answer your question from before, I think this is supposed to be reflective of the story being complete, right? So that's why you do have young Grindelwald's wand, and you have Dumbledore's wand being the Elder Wand. This is supposed to be after everything is all said and done, because you're including characters like Ron and Hermione and Harry and Voldemort. So
right.
Okay, fine. I mean,
but there's details here, and that's why I think it was worth.
There is a lot
up.
of detail. I'm just saying, like, great. Like,
I think we'll stop here. I'm going to be more positive. I think the book. I think the fact that it forms a book is a nice throwback to the fact that the books did start it all.
Yeah.
And I will finally. My final point is that I think this confirms that the Harry Potter and Fantastic Beasts are what this franchise is all about for the foreseeable future. In other words, we're not going to get a spin-off that goes into completely separate territory.
Well, they could fit a little golden snitch in the spine of the book.
That's true, actually. That is true. You can always add more wands. There's always room for more pages.
What I was getting at, though, is that what is it supposed to really do, though? Like, is it supposed to get you excited about something? It doesn't do that. It's a logo, like, and
this is for official merchandising purposes. This is so that that it's officially licensed merchandise, as it has that seal of approval.
Yeah, and in fact, it was ballsy to take JK Rowling's name out of it, because the phrase "Wizarding World" isn't necessarily associated with Harry Potter. Like,
actually,
right now,
it is.
I guess so, but there's a touring con called Wizard Con. Wizard World. Wizard World.
Right, but JK Rowling, it is specific to Harry Potter to use ing, to use wizarding.
Yeah,
world.
But does everybody know that? Like, if you ask my sister,
no, but I mean,
tell me the difference between Wizard World and Wizarding World.
Wizarding World, what? Oh yeah, the traveling cons that are Wizard World. I get it.
Yeah.
But Wizarding World is strictly the intellectual property of JK Rowling now. And if you think, going back to 2010, it's the theme park, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter theme park. And so this is the big blanket term that's now going to mean everything. And I'm glad that JK Rowling's name has been removed from the logo, because truth be told, there are projects that she has little to no oversight on these days that are being created.
Oh, could that be what's going on here?
This is going to open the floodgates to non-JK Rowling sanctioned, officially licensed material.
Crap.
That's what it's going to be. You can no longer, in good faith, say JK Rowling on something if she had nothing to do with it. So mobile games, unfortunately.
That's a good point. Damn it.
Sorry, guys.
Like, we knew this was coming, because with Portkey Games on the website, they were like, these are not written by JK Rowling.
I think she's still going to write the movies. It's going to be great.
Like, no, of course. Yeah. But the games, and who knows, maybe one day a TV show, maybe those won't be written by JK Rowling. This is the first step to push her out. So, oh my God, they're taking JK Rowling out of it. I knew things were getting bad. No, I don't think they're pushing her out. I was just joking. But you're so right that this is their way of subtly telling us that not everything in the Wizarding World franchise is JK Rowling's creation, direct creation.
Yeah. So from a money standpoint, from
But
a
every
legal
one of the
standpoint,
characters that are represented in these wands are her creation. So
Yes.
yeah, hers specifically. Oh, thank God they didn't have like Delphine Diggory's wand.
not yet. Somebody photoshopped that.
Oh man.
No, I mean, look, like, I don't have anything meaningful to say here. I guess
Say what you really feel, Micah.
You know what,
it's
guys?
stupid. It looks stupid. Like, what do you want me to say?
Okay, can I pause the show for a second? It's 11:10 Eastern. Micah worked today. It's late. He's getting cranky. It's time for bed. I understand.
I get it. I agree.
It's we should start wrapping
It
this
looks
up
like,
soon.
like you said, like a featherless peacock.
Nobody said featherless.
I
Nobody
said peacock, but you're right. It does look like a bony peacock.
A bony.
And look, I mean, they're affiliated with NBC Universal. Maybe they used it as an influence.
Oh
to
no, it's subliminal messaging.
NBC.
Crap.
Now every time I see this Wizarding World logo, I'm gonna think NBC.
Wizarding World.
But it's got to be
JK
synthesized.
Rowling
Hedwig's
is only
theme,
loosely associated these days with the Wizarding World.
right?
So my big question, time in by the way. My big question about all of this is, since they have the Wizarding World of Harry Potter theme park, they have the Wizarding World logo. Are we going to start seeing celebrations of the Wizarding World, not just celebrations of Harry Potter, but are we going to see Fantastic Beasts actors at the convention that they do every year in January in Florida? You know, are we going to start seeing a more seamless integration of non-Harry Potter stuff into the day-to-day?
No.
Well, the question for me would be, where are they going to use this? Merchandise?
On the back of books, at the end of trailers, at the beginning of trailers.
But on the back of what books, though? If you're saying that it's not officially tied to JK Rowling anymore.
It can be. It just doesn't have to be.
It's not officially tied to it's officially tied to the Wizarding World. I'm saying that by removing JK Rowling's name from it, if you look at if you look at one of the new Harry Potter video games coming out and says JK Rowling's Wizarding World, that kind of implies that JK Rowling had involvement in this game.
Right.
When she didn't. So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, if they can't do false advertising, so they had to remove it. So having the Wizarding World, they're going to end up releasing another 7 Harry Potter book hardcover paperback with the Wizarding World logo on it instead of anything else.
Yeah.
Just
all right.
so
Oh
people
boy.
know.
And I'll tell you also on Pottermore right now, top left of the site. It's got the new Wizarding World logo. You go to
Is
Chris
it?
Child, got the new Wizarding World logo.
Oh my God,
Everything
is
is now housed under that Wizarding World
I hate
logo.
that. Yeah. Well, I did have a question about the video they released yesterday showing the Wizarding World logo had a series of people with the wands up in front of their faces at the end of the video. You guys catch this?
I did.
Did you
And
get? Did we miss an email? Did we miss like an invitation?
I know
somewhere
Warner
to-
Brothers didn't tell us to put our wands up.
I want to. Yeah, come on.
I need to have my wand ready.
I think that's pretty cool that they had whoever these people are.
Yeah, it was a cute little campaign.
Little thing.
All right. Think we said what had to be said.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Mike is ready to bed. We're gonna tuck him into his Casper mattress. Should we play some Quizzitch first? Did we have one?
Let's play some Quizzitch. Yes, we
Okay.
do. Do indeed.
I do want to know, though, and we can save this for a future episode, like, what do listeners think about this logo? Because I can't believe that I'm all by myself here and
not caring.
Yeah, I think that's a better way to put it. I'm not. I know I was a little critical of the actual logo itself, and honestly, I do like the book feel to it, but I don't really care one way or the other. I think you framed it the right way.
Do I care one way or the other either? Not really. But I think it's worth talking about for one episode.
No, absolutely, it's worth talking about. I just nothing like jumps out at me to say, and I guess sometimes better not say anything at all. But yeah, I mean, they needed a rebrand. It's fine. I'll leave it at that.
All right.
Okay, cool. Well, let's get over to Quizzitch then. Last week's question: who was the goblin that was with Griphook in the forest when the trio discovers the Potter Watch crew. This was, of course, the question coming from Deathly Hallows. And just pulling up the winners' names over here on our Twitter. But the correct answer to the question was Gornuk. And now I'm trying to find out why that wasn't... Okay, Gornuk, yes. And we have Mikhail, Anders Drew, Ryan Nolan, Sean Brady, and Just Sarah get that answer correct. Ryan Nolan said to us, "It's my boy Gornuk, posting up and camping out with Dean Thomas." That was the answer to last week's Quizzitch. This week's question is as follows. Name the 3 wizarding publications known to have published Dumbledore's academic papers. This is a real hard one. I know there's a varying degree of difficulty to these weekly Quizzitch questions, but this one was submitted by one of our listeners and patrons, Andrew V., and I think it's as good a question as any. So, as always, play Quizzitch via Twitter. Just send us the answer to each week's question as it airs and get your name shouted out.
Michael will do it tomorrow, as it's time for bed now. Thanks, everybody, for listening. This is the last episode was a bonus episode, so everyone's getting 5 episodes this month.
Love
or
it.
6 if there are 5 Mondays in March.
Let me see.
We appreciate your support. We'd love your support over on Patreon. We may go over... Well, no, we won't, because still 500, first 800 $5 plus patrons. It might not be too late to get one of those new MuggleCast mugs. The first 800 people who pledge $5 or more on patreon.com/MuggleCast will get the 2018 MuggleCast mug. You also get a host of other benefits, including bonus MuggleCast installments, access to our recording studio. You can essentially listen to each episode early by listening to our live stream. You can listen to us make mistakes. You can listen to us get cranky at each other.
Not at each other, just at logos.
True. All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening. I'm Andrew.
I'm Eric.
And I'm Micah.
Bye, everybody.
Good night.